Welcome back to The Slice, folks, and welcome back, Andy Murray, to the big time. If you didn't know, Andy Murray is, in my opinion, officially back after winning his first tournament in almost 2 years this week. So we're going to take a look at that, how he won it, and what it means for him. And we're also going to preview the Vienna and Basel Masters, 500 events that are happening currently in Vienna and Basel, including the great Roger Federer, who's playing in Basel. So we're going to get into all this in this episode of The Slice.
Welcome to The Slice.
Welcome to The Slice.
Welcome to The Slice.
Thank you for joining me, folks. I am so glad you're here. Welcome to the show. If you're new, subscribe down below. If you haven't already, check out the merch we got. This is the It's Bagel Time mug so that you can be reminded every morning before you play your match what time it is. And stay tuned to the end of the show to see how you can get your hands on this mug for free. Now, Andy Murray is officially back because he won a tournament. And if you didn't know, winning a tournament, even though it was the Antwerp 250, it's hard to do on the ATP World Tour. And it's not just that it's hard to do. He beat one of the all-time greats, arguably, in the final, Stanislas the Manislas Wawrinka, who has also won 3 majors, same as Andy Murray. We're going to have a video coming out on who has an all-time greater career. It'll be pretty obvious to most of you. But anyways, Wawrinka has been playing well in the last couple of months, kind of coming back from some injuries during the beginning of the year. So he's a formidable opponent. Andy Murray has been playing better since he started to make his comeback kind of like after the U.S. Open, during the U.S. Open. He played at Rafael Nadal's academy in Mallorca, Spain, at a challenger there. Didn't even win the tournament, I don't think. But he got a couple wins under his belt. And then has been working his way into different things. He played some good matches in Shanghai. Then he rolls up to Antwerp and plays Wawrinka in the final and loses the first set 3-6 with Wawrinka playing unbelievably good tennis. Just great stuff, great hitting. And then he's able to turn it around and grind it out and win the next 2 sets 6-4, 6-4 in old school Andy Murray fashion. So that shows me the way that he's able to, match the level of Wawrinka and then win the match and grind it out. To me, the old Andy Murray's back because that's what he used to do so well. He's a great defensive player and also obviously being able to turn it into offense as well. But that's just like him and Djokovic were, to me, when they grew up, the two kings of playing unbelievable solid defensive tennis and then being able to attack as well through that and just being a great all-around tennis player. But that's the Andy Murray that I saw in this match. Wawrinka probably was playing better, hitting bigger, but Murray found a way to win. And that's what he does. He also said after the match, which he was emotional, because it's been over 2 years since the dude has won a tournament and since he's been playing pain-free. And he said he has no pain in his hip because he's got a metal hip now. And he said it just allows him to play the way that he wants to play. So if he can play the way he wants to play, and he's obviously still got the skill to do it because he's beat Stan Wawrinka in the final of a tournament, that shows to me that Andy Murray is officially back. And we can... he's ranked like 120th in the world now because his ranking dropped so much, but I think he gained like 120 ranking spots in this win. So he's going to be back. He's going to be back in the top. I would say 2020, if his hip doesn't get worse, if he's playing, he's going to be able to find his way back towards near the top. How high? I don't know, but the sky's the limit for Andy Murray. That's all I know because you don't just stumble into winning a 250, beating Wawrinka in the final by accident. That shows his level and shows where it's at. And he's obviously still got the fire because he was emotional after the tournament. And he's just showing that he still wants to play. If he didn't want to play, if he was content with his career, he would have just hung it up during the hip thing and probably not got surgery. But it's really cool to see, in my opinion, Andy Murray being back. So welcome back, old Muzzard. Isn't that cool to see, folks? And Denis Shapovalov is also back in a sense because he won his first ever ATP tournament this week in Stockholm. He had a fairly easy route through the tournament. Again, no matches on the ATP Tour are easy, but he was definitely the best player, I would say, in every match he played. But that's a good sign because for the young players, we've seen it hard for them to keep up consistent results, even in matches they should technically win due to ranking or whatever. So he was able to do that throughout this tournament and get the W, something he's never done. I think he's been to 8 semifinals, including Masters 1000 semifinals, and never gotten to a final and won it. Or maybe even never been to a final. I'm not sure. But he got his first victory this week, and that's a great sign. For the fellow Canadian, Denis Shapovalov, good on you, mate. Might, like, goes to an Australian accent. It's like, Steven, that makes no sense. You're Canadian. Anyways, in the Basel 500, we have Roger Federer back in action after a fairly disappointing Shanghai event. He is the first seed. Alexander Zverev was the second seed. Tsitsipas is the third seed. And Roberto Bautista Agut is the fourth seed. Old RBA there. So Federer has already won his first match versus Goyevic. Played amazing. I think he won 6-1, 6-2. Next up, it could be Albert, who gave him a tough match in Miami, if you remember that. Almost went out in his first match. In the quarterfinals, he could play Stan the Man. In the semifinals, he could play Tsitsipas. And in the finals, he could have played Zverev, but Zverev lost already to Taylor Fritz, who was looking really good, handling Zverev's power really well. I don't think Zverev played a bad match. He just lost to a hot Zverev. Or Tsitsipas, or dang it, Fritz. Jeez, I'm getting my words jumbled. So Zverev's out, which is kind of disappointing after you watch him lose in the final of Shanghai, also make it to the final of, or the semifinal of Beijing before that. So, but again, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It's the Basel 500. We put too much pressure on the consistency of these guys when they're young, I think. We're matching them up with the greatest of all times, like Nadal and Federer, when they were young, and that's just really not fair. But it is a disappointing result for Zverev, clearly. So Federer's got, I'd say, a decent route. It's going to be could be a tougher tournament than it sometimes is in Basel. I think he's going for his 10th title there, which is going to put him in like Rafael Nadal category for like numbers of a single tournament win. It's crazy how Nadal's won 12 of like multiple, I think, Grand Slam or multiple tournaments. So that's pretty amazing. Going for his 10th title there in Basel. And in Vienna and the Masters at the 500 there, we have Dominic Thiem playing in his home country. Obviously, shout out to Austrians there. I am part Austrian, if you did not know. Sent a shirt there last year. Dominic Thiem's the first seed. Karen Khachanov is the second seed. Berrettini's the third seed. And Gael Monfils is the fourth seed. So that's also going to be exciting action to watch this week from Vienna. So that's super exciting. There is a quick wrap-up and a preview of the two tournaments that are going forward. I fully expect Federer to win the Basel 500 for the 10th time. I think he's still playing good. Obviously, if he's injury-free, he's going to be playing good, and he's going to be the man to beat there. And I'd be interested to see Thiem. I think Thiem's won the Vienna 500 before, but all four of the top seeds could win that tournament, and there's some good young guys in that draw. So that's going to be interesting as well. Join the Front Row fam. If you're interested in supporting The Slice more, you can join our Patreon show, which is where you can support The Slice financially and then gain access to extra content. If you sign up for the $10 a month tier, which is called the Premium Supporter, because you support us a bit more than you have to, we'll send you this mug for free. Free shipping, free of charge. We're just thankful that you're jumping on the Front Row fam. In our last episode, I talked about the Next Gen Rising, the battle for year-end number 1 between Djokovic and Nadal. And I talked briefly about the possibilities of Federer retiring in 2020 after the Olympics. So it's up to you if you want to join that, our growing little family in the Front Row fam. You can click the link below right after this video. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll check in with you near the end of the weekend on the Basel and Vienna tournaments. Until then, stay watching tennis. Get it locked in.